Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tarnished Bronze, where today we're going to look at the Dumpster Killer Part 1, which is in Batman 414 from 1987. Now, Jim Starlin and Jim Aparo are classic comic creators alongside Mike DiCarlo. So, Jim Starlin is usually known for a lot of his cosmic stuff. He draws Infinity Gauntlet, Dreadstar, and Captain Marvel or Warlock, one or the other or both. And Jim Aparo is basically the Batman illustrator, the default Batman illustrator, basically from the 70s and into at least the mid 90s, and very famous for the Nightfall stuff, very famous for Batman and the Outsiders, and very famous for the Brave and the Bold. But here we have something a bit different. So Jim Aparo usually has one foot in the Silver Age camp. Remember all of that marketing, all of that, the Batman who's on lunch boxes and the Batman who's on t-shirts and the Batman who's on backpacks is usually some sort of derivation of Jim Aparo. But he can really bring it with the more modern sensibilities, especially with an inker and especially with the action scenes. So he's no stranger to kind of like the modern take. Starlin's Batman is probably best seen as a way station between Frank Miller's Year One and Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns. Indeed, one could posit that Starlin's whole Batman is how he got from one to the other. And so, in this particular sort of saga, the Dumpster saga, we're going to see how Batman, or more specifically Bruce Wayne's whole worldview changes, just ever so closely and ever so slightly towards the apogee or the nadir, depending on your point of view on his character. So the first um, the first page here is just a great scene sort of set up by Aparo. You can see Batman is on the rooftops. We're just diving straight into the story here. We've got the body in the dumpster. It's a young female, and Commissioner Gordon is looking very stylish with his jacket sort of tossed over his shoulder there. But we're getting straight into the action. There's no pausing, just cold. It's like Law and Order. We're straight into it. Um, and Aparo is really doing his best to keep this sort of Batman in the shadows here. But we get no pause to do any deductions, to come up with any sort of profiles on our killer. We're thrown straight into some more action where Batman is forced to basically try and save this woman in a burning brownstone who's also trying to save this little girl. And here we just get the amazing sort of action sequence. So you can see he's getting ready to swing on the line. I must admit, Starlin's internal monologue for Bruce Wayne and Batman is kind of really, really well done here. So we haven't had a moment to breathe. We're doing all this stuff. Batman is saving this woman who turns out to be a Gotham resident, and Batman is kind of struck by how she went out of her way to sort of into this kind of dead end part of town to be. I think she's either a social worker or a counselor or something. And she has a go at him for saying that she needs an escort to go around, because obviously that's not very reformed or modern of Batman, but he's just looking out for her. And anyway, one thing leads to another, and we get these people meeting, and Bruce Wayne is meeting and engaging her. Now, one of the sort of techniques that Starlin and Aparo are using is these repeated panel motifs. So the same panel with a different emotion of the person, or the same panel with a piece of equipment or an item that's just changed slightly from panel to panel. And I think that really works. It's quite visually arresting, and it just rams home the sort of emotional aspect of this whole kind of saga. And so while they're, over the 2 weeks meeting and greeting Bruce Wayne as Batman, he's kind of chasing down this dumpster killer, and he's kind of narrowed in on a bit of a suspect. And you can just see, look at the scowl on Batman compared to the grin on this guy's face. It's really done quite well here. So many panels in this, but so many great pages. So the dumpster killer, needless to say, strikes again. And this time it's this woman that Batman rescued, that Bruce Wayne has become to really like, and we get this recurring motif. We get the hand with the knife, we get the foot in the dumpster, we get the photo of what she was, we get the reality of what she was, and then we get the reality of how she ends up. And you see these beautiful Batman emotive faces. It just really works well. Just fantastic. I mean, if this was a different comics company and this was maybe Tim Vigil, we would have a nice 3 page of the utter destruction. But here we have to kind of keep it a little bit more subtle for the comics code. So, needless to say, Bruce Wayne's world has been really rocked. Um, Another excellent page of Batman now taking it out on his suspect, just really visceral, really good. And then you get the two faces side by side, the villain Batman, and then all Batman can think of is like what she was, the memory of what she was, and how she ended up. That's just keeps on recurring as a motif through this whole thing. And we get to the end, and the end is almost we're back to where we started. Batman is on a rooftop. Somehow this guy managed to get away because he didn't have the correct sort of legal precedent and evidence in which to hold him. So Batman just knows that he's got to bide his time and wait for this guy to either leave some evidence or find some evidence or try and strike again and stop before it happens. So yeah, back to where we began. But look at how Gotham City is placed in that last panel that it's rotated. So Gotham City is askew, and one might sort of say that is Gotham City going to be askew until Batman finds and arrests and convicts this dumpster killer, or is Gotham just going to be askew from here on out? And that that twistedness is going to spiral into Bruce Wayne turning into the Dark Knight Returns Bruce Wayne. So I really love this Jim Starlin stuff. This whole thing is really great. There's also the Knights of the Beast series that Jim Starlin did. A Death in the Family is maybe like not quite so good to me. It's almost a little bit silly. I know it's a Batman comic. It's obviously always a little bit silly, but this is a little bit silly. That's a little bit silly than what it needs to be. But these street level Jim Starlin issues are just really where you want to be. These are a real sweet spot indeed. The first one that he did, he does the art on it. We may dig out that one on the channel too. But if you find some Jim Starlin Batman, don't hesitate to pick it up. Just enjoy them for what they are. They're these great sort of street level crime things. And so we will continue on the dumpster killer, I think, in the next couple of episodes on Tarnished Bronze. And if you like this, like, follow, and subscribe. And Patrick and I would be back soon, I think, to do an episode. So thanks again for tuning in. Take it easy.